There should be a moment in your life when you wondered about how it would be if the whole world spoke only one unified language that apparently would be a universal language. Imagine not having to learn a new language when you're planning to move to another country for whatever reason that would be, or simply not having to speak that lingua franca that everybody has to learn and not everyone is able to achieve proficiency, which is apparently the language that I'm speaking right now. While this whole idea of a universal language, or let's call it, at least when referring to it in this video, the Unilang, seems to have nothing to connect to our tangible world in this very moment, and at any point in the near future, still that invites our minds to think of a logical way in which this Unilang could be a real thing. Before diving into our today's topic, here's a side note for you. This video is not about some sort of a global language that was created and meant to be taught worldwide in order to make it the one that all people speak, like for example Esperanto, but rather we're going to have a kind of an imaginative reflection of language and genes and the relationship between them, and what role they have in the process of acquiring our native tongue, and also to push it forward to the idea of a particular gene that hypothetically speaking may carry within its DNA the codes of solely one specific universal language, or a unilang. Now let's start off with the gene itself. In general, we know that a gene is that script-like mechanism that contributes to preserve certain human traits and pass it on from a generation to the next one. For example, we have some genes that specify the eye color, skin color, and height. There are even genes that are considered to have a big role in inherited IQ levels. Alright, cool. But what does all this have to do with the title of the video? And are there genes that have functions that are related to language? Well, the answer here would probably be yes, and also at the same time it would be no. The explanation is just simple, in that it is for sure there are genes that are responsible for our ability to acquire language. However, as our knowledge of the world would tell, it is not a precise language that is to be acquired in this situation, but rather the one that a child receives from his parents. So our aim today is to imagine a world where everyone speaks a universal language, or as we referred to earlier as Unilang, which is a hypothetical universal language encoded in our DNA. But what would this mean for cultural diversity, linguistic evolution, and even scientific advancements? Let's unpack this fascinating concept together. First of all, the idea of a universal language, or unilang, suggests improved global communication, but poses a significant threat to cultural diversity. Unique languages and dialects are deeply tied to cultural identities, and a universal language can homogenize these identities, reducing the variety of cultural expressions. The Silk Road from the 2nd century BCE to the 14th century CE exemplifies the benefits of cultural diversity through the exchange of goods, ideas, and practices among various cultures, such as the spread of Buddhism from India to China. This vibrant interaction illustrates how diverse languages enhance exchanges and contribute to creativity. In contrast, a universal language could erase the unique linguistic frameworks that shape cultures, leading to a loss of nuanced perspectives. Ultimately, while a unilang may streamline communication, it risks creating a more monolithic world at the expense of rich cultural diversity. Next, let's consider the implications of unilang being fixed and unchangeable. Unlike natural languages, which evolve and adapt over time, unilang would be encoded in the DNA of every newborn. This means that once established, the language would remain consistent across generations. Imagine uncovering texts written thousands of years ago in unilang. Because it has remained unchanged, we could effortlessly understand complex ideas penned by thinkers of the past. Take, for instance, profound philosophical texts or ancient scientific theories. With unilang, concepts once lost to time could be as accessible as a contemporary book. The beauty and complexity of expression would continue, allowing modern thinkers to build on the wisdom of their ancestors without misinterpretation. Now, let's dive into what the writing system for unilang might look like. If speech is unified, does that mean writing must be too? The answer isn't so straightforward. While a unified spoken language may foster cohesion, communities might still opt for distinct writing forms. For instance, a community might develop a symbolic representation of concepts, focusing on visual elements that resonate with their cultural experiences. Imagine English written in different writing systems. That actually sounds complicated, and even can create obstacles rather than just simplify interaction between speakers of the unilang. Finally, let's address a significant challenge: the adaptation of new words in unilang. Because this language is fixed and encoded, the integration of new concepts, especially in science and technology, could face obstacles. Language is more than just communication. It shapes how we think. Think about the many scientific terms that have emerged due to cultural nuances, such as quark or cyberspace, words that didn't exist in the past but have opened new avenues for understanding. Innovative ideas often arise from our ability to adapt and alter language. If Unilang resists such evolution, what happens when new discoveries demand new vocabulary? Leading edge fields like artificial intelligence or genetic engineering evolve rapidly, often requiring specific terms that don't have direct translations. For example, consider how the internet has transformed our lives. It brought explosion of new vocabulary just to describe our experiences in cyberspace. If Unilang can't grow to accommodate such new words, we risk stifling innovation, a potential pitfall for future advancements. So, what do you think about the concept of Unilang? Could a universal language promote unity while preserving cultural richness? Or would it ultimately create barriers? And how would we navigate the challenges of evolution and innovation? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more intriguing discussions from Magetical. Until next time, keep questioning and exploring the wondrous world of language.